Greetings everyone, Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to my pick number 9 of my favorite 30 progressive rock albums of the 70s. We've been counting down all month long. Only 8 more picks to go after today till we move on to another topic for the month of July. But we got some really good picks coming up over the next couple of days. Not that all of these this month haven't been great, because they're my favorites, right? Absolute favorites. I have limited myself to only a maximum of 3 albums per any one band to show up on my final list. A lot of great albums by a lot of great bands. Not quite making the cut. Doesn't mean I love them any less, but you can only pick 30 favorites, right? Only have 30 slots here. So this particular album, it's the 3rd album from this British band. Oh, gee, another British band. It was released April 14th, 1972. Recorded it at Vizian Studios and Command Studios in London, England. Produced by the band this time around for Vertigo Records in the UK, Columbia here in the States, and in Canada. I am talking about Three Friends from Gentle Giant. Yeah, and it's the first one I ever bought. No surprise. That happens quite a bit. Sometimes the first album you get by a classic band generally tends to stick with you over time. Although with this band, I have oftentimes shifted around my favorite albums by them. It's really this band is really tough because they have so many great albums, a really amazing run that at many times during my love affair with this band, I have often changed my favorite album, or appeared to have a favorite album. It's very hard. This one, generally speaking, though, is the one that usually stays at the top. And for those of you here in the U.S., so we had this. So this was the UK cover of the album, and then of course, bizarrely enough, in the U.S., they basically made that the album cover. Which, yes, that is the same album cover as the first album. What were they thinking? I don't know. Quite frankly, though, this is a much better album cover than that. I'm never a big fan of that, but that's, that should be the album cover, right? Not remaking or just reusing the same album cover from the first album. It doesn't make any sense, right? Anyway, this is like I said, this is their 3rd album. Here, the band, excuse me, geez, allergies, man, first thing in the morning, terrible. This is somewhat of a concept album here about 3 young children who are very good friends as they kind of travel through life and separate, how their life unfolds, maybe not in such a great way, and how they all 3 of them yearn to be back together. Do they get back together? Don't they get back together? That's the story to follow along with. Interestingly enough, though, this is a very instrumental oriented album. There are vocals on this album, but this is a much more, the album's like 35 minutes long. It's very short. Most of the Gentle Giant albums are short, only 6 tracks, and lots of long instrumental sections here. In fact, with only 6 tracks, most of the songs on this album are a little bit longer than the Gentle Giant normal track length, because these guys were not all about lengthy songs, but on this album, the songs tend to be a little longer than normal. And the lineup for the album is Gary Green on all guitars, mandolin, little bits of percussion things. Kerry Minier on Hammond organ, piano, Fender Rhodes electric piano, mellotron, Moog, clavinet, harpsichord, lead vocals. Malcolm Mortimer, his first and only album with the band, on drums and percussion. Derek Shulman, lead vocals and backing vocals. Doesn't play any additional instruments on this particular album. Later on, you would see him do saxophone and various other woodwinds and things. Phil Shulman, got 3 brothers in this band, right? On saxophone, 3 kinds of sax, tenor, alto, baritone, lead vocals. And Ray Shulman, bass, violin, 12-string guitar, and vocals. So, yeah. Great stuff here. So, like I mentioned, 6 tracks. Starts off with the incredible prologue, which has vocals from Phil Shulman. Again, it's mostly an instrumental song, but you do have brief vocal sections. You know, all the songs have bits of vocals, but this is, like I said, not a vocal-oriented album by any means, unlike some, you know, follow-up albums. Prologue is great because it's kind of heavy, then it's kind of quirky, right? Pretty much rocks. There's some really rocking stuff on this album. Great song that leads into School Days, which is just a majestic song. It's pastoral. It's very English sounding. It's definitely progressive rock. There's all sorts of cool things going on here. You got Phil and Kerry both switching off vocals on this track. Lovely, lovely song. Really like that quite a bit. Kind of sets, I know Prologue is the first song, but School Days kind of sets the tone for the album. Then you have another kind of more rockin' song, which is Working All Day. Again, this kind of, when you're following the concept of the storyline here, it's this is, you know, the kids growing up, going into the workforce, working all day. Just and it's the lead vocal from Derek on this particular album. Again, a little more riffy. Good guitar solo from Gary Green on that one. Really, really cool. Then you have what has always been my favorite song on the album, which kicks off side 2. It's also the longest track on the album. It's just about 7.5 minutes long. It's called Peel the Paint. It starts off, you know, this kind of like rolling bass line from Ray, and then these haunting kind of like violin strings and gentle vocals from Phil in the first half of the song. And then all of a sudden, like about the midway point, the sledgehammer riffing comes in from Gary Green, and these angry vocals from Derek Shulman. It turns into this blistering hard rock track with this just killer riff, and then Gary launches into this scalding guitar solo that basically takes you out through the whole rest of the song. So it's like, what, 3 minutes of gentle, kind of classically inspired progressive rock, kind of avant-garde sounding, very pastoral, and then boom, big-time heavy rock with an amazing guitar solo from Gary. Like I said, he's used a little bit of wah-wah in it. He uses an Echoplex later on the track. Very, very cool stuff. Love Peel the Paint. Epic stuff. And then, of course, you got Mr. Class and Quality, which is more upbeat, a little on the bluesy side, but still technical and complex, the way these guys like to write their arrangements, you know. It's got a cool guitar lick. It's got a cool violin to back it up. And then, you know, you get this kind of like weird a cappella stuff going on later in the track, and these kind of like real just insanely complex little arrangements they got going on. This band just loves to throw these things out. That's about 6 minutes long. And then the haunting Three Friends finishes it off in dramatic fashion. I love Three Friends. I think it's great. I wish it was longer. It's just about 3 minutes long. Got Mellotron there and just organ and just all the guys are singing. Got this big like kind of like ensemble, like kind of like haunting, drifting vocals. It's just really good. And I love the way it kind of carries out and finishes out the album. Just tremendous. Tremendous album. Love this album. Not a weak song on it, and it's just to this day, I still remember the first day I ever bought this. I bought this album. This was my kind of first taste, and I brought it home and I listened to it, and I was kind of like, I wasn't sure what I thought of it, because I had been hearing about Gentle Giant for years, and this was like probably 1991 or something like that, and I was just knee deep into progressive rock at the time, and I just wanted to kind of like soak in any band that I hadn't heard of previously from the 70s, and this was the main one, right, that I had. Well, this and Vandergraaf Generator, both kind of around the same time. And I remember thinking, I'm not sure if I like this or not, but I'm so intrigued by it. I kept listening, and then I went back out to Tower Records, because that's where I got this from, in Nyack, New York, and I went and bought the first album and Octopus, literally like a week later. And so I had those are the first 3 that I had. Oh no, I got Acquiring the Taste as well. So I got the first 4 like right off the bat. And I remember listening to them and still thinking, I'm not sure if this band is clicking with me. And then one day it just did. And then forget it, the floodgates were open. I picked up everything else within a very, very short time, and I had the whole Gentle Giant collection, and that was kind of that, right? And I've been a fan ever since. So yeah, that's my pick for today. Pick number 9, Three Friends by Gentle Giant. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful album. You know, I mean, Gentle Giant is one of the bands that I could have had many releases here in my top 30. Because quite frankly, you know, In a Glass House, Three Friends, Power and the Glory, Acquiring the Taste, Interview, even the first album, love them all to death, right? But can't fit everything, right? So Because, like I said, otherwise my entire list would be Gentle Giant, yes, Genesis, King Crimson, Rush, Pink Floyd, Jethro Tull. That's it, right? So, got to make a little amends along the way to kind of let other favorites come in, right? So, yeah. But let us know what you think of Three Friends. If you haven't heard it, man, you're missing out. Go check it out. This is a wonderful, wonderful album. And it's my number 9. Oh, almost forgot charting positions, right? Sometimes I just get so involved in talking that I just forget to go and look at the charting position. Well, not much to talk about with this one. So, as you can expect with Gentle Giant, right? Not a million seller, not a gold seller anywhere. No certifications at all. However, this did crack the U.S. Billboard 200 at 197. All right, so made a little bit of a dent in the charts here. Not anywhere else, though, unfortunately. So there you have it. That's it. So let us know, like I said, what you think of Three Friends down in the comments below, as well as your pick for today, pick number 9. And visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also, down below we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page. So thank you in advance for all that and all your support. And we'll see you tomorrow. We're pick number 8. Tune in tonight for the Monsters Den. Tomorrow we got Friday morning at the Funhouse with Martin Popoff, of course. And we've got double duty for you here on Sunday. Yes, I will be bringing you the Ranking the Album show with Griffin. Speaking of Griffin, Gentle Giant, bands that kind of not all that dissimilar from each other. Griffin a little bit more kind of medieval folky, right? Or not, yeah, medieval Baroque folk, but still with very quirky, complicated progressive rock. I think if you like Gentle Giant, you never listened to Griffin, you might really like Griffin. But again, a little more on the folky side, but still very, very cool band. That's coming up. I'm going to be ranking their catalog on Sunday, as well as we got the return of the Curse of the Collector coming up on Sunday as well. So lots happening this weekend, so stay tuned for all of it. Till then, I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.